So, let's talk about watermarks in 2020, you guys. Hey, what's up you guys? Nick here. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Nick. I'm a professional photographer. I've been shooting professionally for the last 3 years, though I've had a camera in my hand for the last 16. And for those of you who are joining us for another video, thank you guys so much. And before we get jumping into the watermark thing, check out the new merch. This is a photo that was originally looked like this. And as you can see, the little watermark in the bottom, and that's what we're segueing into. We are talking about watermarks today, and whether or not you need one, what their usage is, and why I hate them. So, let's get started. What is the point of a watermark? A lot of photographers use it as a way to protect their images online. So they put a watermark on it. If someone steals it, the watermark is there, they can see it and call them out on it. This is fundamentally flawed. And the reason I say that is, and this is kind of why I hate watermarks, is you kind of have a mix-up. You can either throw it in the bottom right-hand corner like that image of Ari that I just showed. Actually, I'll just show it again. As you can see, the watermarks in the very bottom of the corner. And I was actually using that as an example of why I hate watermarks, because as you can see, I'm going to show you another one. Look at that. I cropped the watermark out of the image. It's as easy as that. Now, let's say you don't put it in the corner. Let's say you put it somewhere else so that it can't be easily cropped out of the photo. You put it closer to the model or the image, the point of the image, so that it can't be cropped out without ruining the image. And here we go with that one. It's close to Ariana, and it is hideous. It stands out, it's popping out right there. It takes your eyes, or the viewer's eyes, off of the point of the image, which is this. You will not find very many of my images watermarked because I don't like the way it looks on the image. I think it takes away from the image, and the point of using it as a way to protect your work, it's super easy to work around it. You can use the stamp tool to get rid of it. There are websites you can upload your image to, and it'll just remove the watermark for whoever stole your photo. It's very simple and easy to take a watermark off a photo, so much so it took me 3 minutes with one of my images to remove the watermark completely and nullifying the protection piece of the watermark. What about branding? I've heard branding used as a reason why a photographer will use a watermark. And again, if you're putting it in the bottom right hand corner, or the bottom left hand corner, when you upload it to Instagram, it's going to get cropped off. When you upload it to Facebook, it might not get cropped off, depending on the resolution you upload it to, but again, it takes away from the image. It draws the viewer's eyes down, and I guess if it's for your portfolio, it would make a little bit of sense. I think they're ugly. If I see an image with a watermark on it, my eye immediately goes to the watermark. It takes away from me looking at the image, and I kind of find them ugly and distasteful. There are other ways to promote. It's working with the model or working with the client that you're working with and having them promote word of mouth. If you were a client and you paid for a photo session and you got those photos back with a watermark, I would be upset. I would be very upset if I received photos back with a watermark on them, because A, I paid you for the service and I'm going to spread your skill through word of mouth, which is a very powerful thing. We've discussed that in several videos already, but I will spread your service via word of mouth. If you watermark my images, I'm not going to share them. And that sentiment is true with a lot of clients. I've had a lot of clients approach me and say, I'm shooting with you because I never see you use watermarks. I don't want to get an image back from a watermark. We did our daughter's senior photos, and when we got the senior photo prints back, there was watermarks on them, and we were really upset. And I've heard that from a lot of clients. So you have to balance networking and promotion with the client's needs. And clients don't want watermarks. Do you want a wedding photo with a watermark on it? Do you want family portraits with a watermark on it? Absolutely not. No one wants that. I mean, there might be some people who want it, but they're wrong. No one wants your watermark on the image that they paid for. Now, if you're doing it, again, you're working with models and you're putting it on there to protect your work or to brand, I don't see it as that effective. The models I have worked with in the past prefer images without watermarks. They don't need my signature or my thing right there. They'll tag me. It's part of our contract that they sign because I use release forms, and we'll do a video on release forms later on, but I use release form. If they upload the images online, they have to tag me. And vice versa. If I upload an image of them, I have to tag them in my image. And it's kind of that networking and portfolio building. It's a back and forth. It's part of my release form, and it's very important that you guys have a release form. Again, we will talk about that later. So, what about protecting your images? We already talked about how terrible of an idea it is, because again, there are websites that will just remove watermarks. There are easy usage in Photoshop. Anyone with basic design knowledge and Photoshop or even MS Paint is going to be able to remove that watermark. Whether they crop the image, they paint it out, they use the stamp tool, they use select and delete, or they match it with the background so you can't actually see it. The watermark goes bye-bye. It's not worth the space, and it's not worth the hassle of possibly making your clients mad. Again, I would not pay a photographer who used a watermark on client photos. At all. I wouldn't pay them. I know I do things professionally, but like my engagement photo sessions coming up, I'm not going to take my own engagement photos. There's a couple of photographers I really like, and I'll have one of them take our engagement photos, and they don't use watermarks because watermarks are tacky and terrible. So, what can you do to protect your photos that you upload online without using a watermark? What are some simple steps you can take? The simplest and quickest step is when you're using Photoshop or Lightroom to edit your photos, go through and edit your metadata. You can put your copyright in there, your name, your camera, all that stuff, so that if it is stolen, you can prove that the image is yours, which is very important. Way to track people stealing your images is if you actually just go to Google Images and then go to the file and drag your photo onto the Google image, it will do a reverse image search all across the internet and find similar photos, and that's how I tracked someone who had stolen one of my photos. Because my more popular uploads on Instagram and Facebook, I usually check them in the reverse image searcher on Google so that I can see if anyone has used that image without my permission, in which case I email them and ask them to credit me. If they don't credit me, I send a cease and desist letter. I've had to do that once. I haven't dealt with that again. I'm not that big of a photographer where people are stealing my images or anything like that. But you can track your metadata. Metadata2go.com. If you upload one of your images on there, it'll tell you all the data from your image, including camera serial number, what edits you made in Photoshop, how you edited it in Photoshop, and all of that stuff. It's actually really cool. So you can actually track your images online using Google. You can use certain websites that will track it based on the metadata, and you can also use your camera serial number to track your images to see if any of them have been used without permission. All without making your photos ugly with a watermark. I really despise watermarks, as you can tell. So, watermarks, the points of them: protect your work and branding. It doesn't protect your work because it's easy to get rid of a watermark, and branding, it's a fine line you're playing with. Some people are going to be okay with you branding on their images. A lot of people are not going to be okay with that. I'm one of the people that would not be okay with that. I would not pay a photographer to put a watermark on one of my images. It's kind of pointless at this time. It's pointless in this day and age to use watermarks. There's ways to track your photography and your photos that you upload, and a couple of other things you can do other than adding copyright to the metadata is to upload low resolution images. That way it can't be blown up and sold on a shirt or on a billboard or used for someone else's marketing on a bigger poster because it's low resolution, so it won't look as good blown up. Uploading low resolution with that metadata with your copyright on there, and you can check if your copyright worked. There are several websites I will link down below where you can check your copyright status of your photos and make sure that you got that metadata into the photo correctly. Now, another cool thing we're going to talk about real quick is you can track your stolen camera using your serial number. And again, I will link that down below. You put in your camera serial number and they can track images uploaded using that camera. It's actually a super cool little piece of information. So if they can track images taken with that serial number, you can track your images using that camera serial number and figure out if any of your images have been stolen, protect your photography, protect your brand, protect your copyright, all without making customers grossed out with watermarks. So here's some examples of gross watermark placement. We have the Ari with it in the corner. We have the Ari with the watermark right next to her. The upper corner, the other upper corner, to the other side of her. And as you can tell, they all take away from the photo. This is a photo shot with high contrast, so the black and the white and the colorful cards and the pistol. And It's ruined by my pink logo from my thumbnail, as you guys probably saw. Totally ruined by my watermark of the pink thumbnail, and that is why I believe that watermarks are pointless in 2020, and hopefully we'll see less of them when this video comes out. Probably not. People get stuck in their ways, and they believe that certain things should be done a certain way and are unwilling to adapt, but that's natural. So, as a beginner photographer, learn how to use metadata, learn how to track your metadata, and learn how to find out if your image has been stolen and what to do in those cases. Again, usually I ask for credit and send an invoice. That's actually really effective. A lot of times they'll just, remove the photo. I did have to send a cease and desist once. Just once. And they pulled the image because they wouldn't give me credit and they didn't want to pay the invoice. So there you guys have it, my opinion on watermarks in 2020. Some of you are going to continue using them. That is a-okay. I'm just judging your images from the sidelines. Not the actual image, just the watermark and how it takes away from the image. So if you guys have any questions, comments, what do you think about watermarks in 2020? Why do you use them? And did I change your mind? Comment that down below, like the video, share it if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe. We are at 401 subscribers now, you guys, and at 500 subscribers, we're giving away that Jolly Look camera. So make sure you subscribe and share. And hit the bell notification so you know right when I upload, and check out the merch. Again, these cool little black and white vectors, I'm so happy with them. Redbubble has been amazing about printing things. Everything they've sent me so far has been super, super high quality. We might be doing some t-shirt giveaways, so if you guys are interested in that, let me know down in the comments below, and I will catch you all on the flip side. Bye!